Before I quickly start this video, I just wanted to thank everybody who sent me postcards and wished me Merry Christmas, and I hope I didn't miss anybody's emails. But as you know, I also announced that Alaskan cruise, and I've just been inundated with so many emails, and I even got some gifts. Yeah, I got some gifts. Tammy and Zach, thank you very much. They know I'm a big fan of Disney as well. In fact, I was looking at doing another cruise very shortly. Look at this. That's great. Thank you again very much for this. I was looking at doing another cruise, and my first thought, because I'm in Florida, is maybe I got to go to Disney for a few days before the cruise or after the cruise. And I started looking at that. And before you know it, I was looking more at the Disney trip than I was at my cruise trip. Just the way it goes. Hi everyone, it's Don, and I hope you're having a fantastic week. Well, with all the bad news that's come up in the last little while and the stories about cruising in the industry, it kind of gets you down in the dumps about cruising. And I thought, I love cruising, and it's one of my favorite types of vacations. I cruise more than I take any other kind. And so I'm going to bring you my top 25 reasons why you should take a cruise. Number one would be the cost. You can search cruise lines all over and find various costs, from inside cabin, guaranteed cabins, luxury suites, double-decker suites, concierge service. You can find something in the cruise that's in your budget, no matter what type it is. And if you're looking at some of those five-star resorts that are out there, there's not a whole lot of choices between one room and another, other than maybe you have a view of the ocean, and that's about it. And so your price and change is pretty much set. So as far as cost is concerned, you can find something in your budget, and it's very equivalent, if not cheaper, than a land vacation. Number two, those of you with families, daycare is included in your cruise. Many cruises have great kids clubs on board, and kids just love to go to them, and they get entertained, and they have activities to do, and this allows you some adult time a little bit alone, and you pick your kids up a little bit later, you go out for dinners. Quite often they want to go back to the kids clubs. So there's always things designed on cruise ships for kids to do to keep them busy, where that might not always be the case if you say go to some resorts in Cuba or Mexico or anywhere. You have to find hotels that have stuff to keep them busy, where you can pretty much guarantee most cruise ships will have something for your kids. Number three, instead of being stuck in one location for 7, 14, 21 days, depending on how long your vacation is, you get to go to multiple destinations and visit different ports all over the place. On some itineraries, you can visit 9 different countries in 16 days. That's just crazy when you think about it. There's no way you're doing that on a land vacation unless you're spending the entire time on a train. So yeah, being able to visit multiple ports and multiple countries and culture all in one trip, you got to give it to the cruise industry. Number four, one of my favorite things is you can tailor your vacation and your destination. If you're one of those adventurers and love to get out and see wildlife and killer whales up close, you can take an expedition cruise to remote locations up in Norway, the Antarctica. If you're somebody who just wants to relax on a beach, you can hit the Caribbean and have multiple beach destinations. You can tailor your itinerary to what you want to do, instead of trying to find that one hotel that just might suit you. Number five, at least while it still exists, there's 24-hour room service on a cruise ship. So yeah, I've been to many hotels that I arrived late from my flight. I get into the hotel, by the time I check in, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm starving, and yeah, there's no room service, there's no food to eat. You could always find something to eat, even at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning on a cruise ship. Number 6, how about you have maid service every single day? You don't have to clean your room, you don't have to make your beds, it's done for you. And before you say, yeah, they do that at hotels too, yeah, well, not always. My last stay at Disney, over a 10-day period, they came in and changed the sheets and cleaned my room once. And that's a 5-star resort. On my cruise ship, on my last cruise ship, they did it twice a day. So, yep, maid service, cruise line wins. Number 7, you probably all know by now, I love Alaska, and there's absolutely no better way to see the Alaskan mountains than going by cruise. I know a lot of people say, well, the train is really, and the train is great, the train is beautiful, but you don't quite see the majestic views of the mountainsides that you do when you're going only about 15 knots along the coastal waters, looking at the mountainside as you're going by. It truly is awe-inspiring and absolutely breathtaking, and there's no better way to see Alaska than on a cruise ship. Number 8, you can get as busy a ship as you want. You can book a ship that has all kinds of activities, flow riders, skydiving, aqua shows, you name it, you can do it, and you can be as busy as you want on a cruise ship. You can get some cruise ships that are so many things to do that you never have to leave the ship. Number 9, the opposite of wanting to be that busy cruiser is just wanting to sit back and unwind. And you could always find the quiet cruise ship on a quiet cruise where you can just get off, unhook from social media and all the outside things, and just let your brain relax and refresh itself. And sometimes we really need to do that. You can always find a cruise to fit how long you want to go. You can find cruises that are 1 day, 2 days, 3 days long, all the way up to 178-day world cruises. So you can always find something to fit your timeline that you're looking to travel. Number 11, everything you could possibly need is on the cruise ship. You can shop on the cruise ship. Your food's on the cruise ship. There's entertainment on the cruise ship. There's things to do on the cruise ship. Your room is on the cruise ship. If you get sick, there's a doctor on the cruise ship. My last trip in Mexico, the nearest doctor was a 2-hour drive away. So yeah, I appreciate the fact that the cruise ships are self-sufficient little cities, including medical staff. Number 12, unfortunately, I like this too much, and that's all you can eat. If you go into the main dining restaurant, you can order 3 and 4 entrees. You can order 2 desserts, 2 appetizers, and not to mention going to the buffet and just having as much as you want, and even the pizza areas and the hamburgers and hot dog and ice cream areas. You can just keep going and going and going, and it doesn't cost you a dime extra. Number 13, a cruise ship can avoid bad weather. I don't mean it can completely avoid and get out of the way, but it can normally, if there's a storm out on the open waterway, they can veer slightly around it, so you never get the full force and blunt of the storm while you're on a cruise ship. Now, it does happen sometimes. Sometimes the captain makes a mistake or something swells up larger, but normally most cruises can avoid the really bad weather. And if you're on a land vacation, nope. If it's coming towards you, it's coming towards you. Number 14, it's so easy to meet people on a cruise compared to a land vacation. Can you imagine going to your dining room table at a luxury resort and they sit you down with 8 other people? But that's expected on a cruise ship. You sit down with other people, where if you were at a resort, you want a table for 2. You're not going to sit with strangers. But this is the norm, and everyone talks, everyone chats, and quite often you leave with lifelong friends at the end of some cruises. And often you exchange emails and Facebook accounts, and you can meet some fantastic people, and much easier than any other type of vacation. Number 15, shopping. If you like to shop, you can not only shop on the cruise ships that have all these diamonds and perfumes and watches and knickknacks and clothing, you could also hit shopping in every port. So if you're a person who just loves to visit the stores and see what's out there, you're gonna love cruising. Number 16, something that people don't really think about. Let's compare an ocean view hotel room and a balcony ocean view on a cruise ship. What's the main difference between the two? Well, chances are the hotel one will be a little bit larger, as most hotel rooms are larger than cruise ships. However, the view. Every single day, the view out of your balcony stateroom on a cruise ship changes. From a port day to evening to the ocean, it's always moving. The scenery's moving. Can you imagine going through Alaska and the scenery's changing on a day, hourly basis and by the minute? Where when you go to a hotel room and you're looking out the window, that's the view you get for however long you stay. Number 17, something that cruise lines allow a little more freedom for kids. And that's because, they have the kids' pool, splash areas on the ships, and they have the kids' clubs, where kids can seem to have a little more independence, and you can feel a little more secure on a cruise ship than you can, say, at a big, huge resort. And just letting the kids run to the pool by themselves. You would feel you have to be there the whole second right beside them. Where on a cruise ship, you can sit down in a lounge chair, you can see the kids playing in a big splash pool. It's set up that way, and there's always attendants around as well. So you can feel just a little more secure, and the kids have a little more freedom to be kids on a cruise. Number 18 is basically it's a classless system. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't matter if you're in an inside cabin or you're in a luxury suite. Everyone is treated the same. You looked at the same. You can't tell somebody sitting on the deck that's in a luxury $10,000 cabin or somebody who's in an $800 cabin. They look the same. There's no difference. They're all going to the same buffet. They're all going to the same main dining lounge. Where if you go to some resorts, they have a section sectioned off and private elevators where you have to use a key card to get in. Everyone else isn't in there. And if you're in an elevator with somebody and they hit that card and they're going into the concierge area, and it just seems like a level of superiority, and they might not mean it to look that way, but it just kind of set up that way. Or there's whole floors blocked off where when you're going up the stairs, there's somebody standing there and they keep telling you to go up one more flight of stairs because you're not allowed on this floor. And yeah, I like that about cruise lines. Even though you're staying in a luxury suite or an inside cabin, you all get to enjoy the exact same amenities on the cruise ship. Number 19, because of the ages that the history of cruising has done, most people have been older in the history of cruises. That's fastly changing. More and more younger people are discovering cruising as the cost is coming down and there's more things to do on the ships. However, cruise lines are pretty much way ahead in the industry as far as tailoring to people with mobility issues on their cruise ships. They design their cruise ships around those types of issues. They make sure staterooms are wide enough. They make sure they have bathrooms for handicap, where at some hotel resorts, you're lucky if there's a ramp. Number 20, if you're a fitness buff and you want to keep in shape on holiday, well, cruise ships are perfect for you. Yeah, you can eat as much as you want in the buffet, but every single cruise ship out there has full gym facilities and running tracks and yoga classes, all kinds of sports courts where you can play basketball, and there's just so much activities on board if you're a fitness buff that you can keep in shape very easily on a cruise ship. Number 21 is sunrises and sunsets. You can get some of the most spectacular pictures and photography. Pictures and photography? Well, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? But videos and from a dock, from a port, out on the ocean. These are some spectacular colors that appear when the sun is going up or coming down. Just the reflections off the water. If you're a photographer, you will just love being out there and being able to film this. I did a time lapse on one of my cruises where it was just, the sun was just coming up as we were moving into port. And it is still, to this day, one of my favorite sunrises of all time. Number 22, there are so many cruise ports nowadays, all across the eastern coast, the southern coast of the United States, up into Canada, Europe, of course, Japan is growing, Asia's booming, Australia's booming. There are docks and ports all over lining the seaside on numerous continents now, where if you live anywhere around there, it's so much easier to find a cruise near you than it ever was in the past. Number 23, cruise ships are always fighting each other to get more of the passenger business. And to do this, what do? They innovate. They bring on new things that might attract people to come to our cruise ship. The Oasis of the Seas, the biggest cruise ship in the world with an aqua theater. And then somebody else brings out trampolines with a 3D VR virtual reality system. And somebody else is now bringing out a roller coaster on a cruise ship. They're always trying to innovate for your dollar to bring you to them. And let's face it, the last time you looked at a resort, it's probably been exactly the same for the last 10, 20, 30 years. Number 24, nothing better than knowing that somebody else is taking care of the traveling. In other words, you don't have to worry about, say you're on a driving vacation and you're going to one stop and then you want to drive to another one and you're doing that driving, you're doing that. You're not really relaxing. Where on a cruise, somebody else, good old captain, he's the one driving, and you can just sit back and relax. You don't have to worry about getting to the destination or looking after your room or doing anything at all. The cruise line looks after it for you. Number 25, and this is a big one nowadays with all the rising things that are happening in the world, and that's security. There is more security at a cruise port and going onto a cruise ship than you will ever find at any resort anywhere, no matter where you're going. There's more screenings. The last time you went to an all-inclusive resort in Mexico, did you have to go through scanners? I don't think so, but you have to go through scanners getting on and off the cruise ships and at the cruise ports to get on. So if you're worried about security going anywhere in the world, cruise ships are the way to go because there's a lot more security for your protection than anywhere else. There you go. There's 25 things that, reasons why I love to cruise. So many things, so many destinations, so many beautiful ships. Price, I can get things in my own price range that I'm looking for. I can go anywhere in the world by cruise ship. I don't have to make special arrangements if I want to go into Norway. You know how hard it is to find resorts in Norway that can do, but cruise ships will do the fjords and do the traveling for me. So much easier, and I'm much more positive after doing this video about how much I love cruising, and I really do hope that this makes you think a lot better light of cruising out there, and you're going to give it a shot or continue to enjoy it, because if you're viewing this channel, you're at least a little bit curious about cruising. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Please hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.